I'm happy to be here with you guys to speak on this very important topic here. And I want to also say thank you to the world-renowned Dr. Ezekwesili. Having listened to you today, I promise, I'm going to be one of your biggest fans in the coming days. Just a brief introduction of what I do and what I've done over the years. Global Initiative for the Education and Literacy of African Girls is a non-for-profit international, headquartered here in New York City, just down the street somewhere over there. And in 2014, when we had the issue with the girls in the northern Nigeria with Boko Haram who were kidnapped, and having gone to school in Nigeria myself and being a member of the National Institute of Nigerian Students, I was an activist. I was actually the education director for that organization. Living in the United States for over two decades, I said, how can I help these children? I have 4 girls myself, and eventually, I came together with people of like minds, and we started this organization here. And it's taken me all over the world, speaking on international conferences, being invited by presidents of nations in the UK, in the Middle East, on platforms with the United Nations. We work very closely with the United Nations Women donating computer equipment to us, and a couple of other celebrities. Actually, recently, I don't know if Chief Mrs. Joy is aware, I was the only Nigerian that was interviewed here in New York City for the position of Assistant Commissioner for Cultural Affairs in New York City. So when we talk about Nigerians going above and beyond in the diaspora, we have a lot to offer. I also did work with the African Union, ambassador to the United States in Washington, D.C., the immediate past. Ambassador Dr. Arikana Chihombori, who happens to be from Zimbabwe. We worked very closely in Washington. I used to attend meetings from here in New York, where I was the education director for the whole of the United States. Before she was recalled and fired, actually, by the AU because she was someone that spoke unequivocally without mincing words. And you're looking at someone standing here today who is, I consider myself as an activist, and I love Kayode for that. I speak what I mean, and I mean what I speak. I fear nobody. I have sat, like I said, with presidents of nations. When it comes to diaspora voting in Nigeria, it's something I will be glad to speak about. So let's get to some knowledge here. Let's get to some knowledge, and I'm going to try to be brief. Okay. All right. The intersection of education, civic participation, and diaspora engagement reflects a dynamic and multifaceted relationship that influences individuals and communities on both a local and global scale. And I'm going to give an overview of how these 3 components connect and reinforce each other. Number 1, education as a foundation. Of course, we have empowerment through knowledge. Education equips individuals with knowledge, skills, and critical thinking necessary for informed civic participation. Through education, individuals learn about governance, civic rights and responsibilities, and the importance of community engagement. Cultural preservation and identity formation. Very important, very huge one. Now, for members of a diaspora, education can serve as a tool to preserve cultural identity while also integrating into the host country's social and political framework. This dual identity is crucial for diaspora members as they navigate multiple allegiances and experiences. Number 2, civic participation. It's a platform for engagement. Political and social involvement. Civic participation involves engagement in political processes, community organizing, and social movements. It is often through education that individuals learn how to participate effectively in their communities, whether by voting, volunteering, or leading grassroots initiatives. Number 3, diaspora's role in civic spaces. Diaspora communities often engage in civic participation both in their host countries and their countries of origin. This dual participation can manifest in voting, advocacy, or mobilizing resources to influence policies and support community development efforts back home. Number 4, advocacy for rights and integration, which is where I'm huge at. Education plays a key role in enabling diasporic populations to advocate for their rights within their host countries, whether that means fighting for immigration reform, social services, or equitable representation. Now, talking about constitution, we need a constitutional overhaul in Nigeria, period. The chapter 2 of the Constitution talks about the inalienable rights of the Nigerian citizen. But right next to it, section 6, subsection, why should a Nigerian be careful? I like to speak with those in government. Why should a Nigerian be careful to speak freely in a nation where we all can agree that Nigeria is a beautiful country? Nigerians all over the world are doing things that we should be proud of. Now, faint-hearted Nigerians are scared to speak because either you speak or you go and then you go to jail, or you can even be killed. I came to Nigeria about 2019 to see 2 governors, and they met me at the airport with motorcades and security, and I said, I'm not used to that. I grew up in Nigeria. I don't need this. They tell me, well, Doc, listen, it's insecurity. How did we get here? I wanted us to have a chat. How did Nigeria get here? So in conclusion, Mr. Kayode, I hope this is going to be a long-lasting relationship between you and I, because I am happy that you have your platform for people like me to come and speak out and speak truth to power. And those of us, and those of the people who are in the Nigerian government, people who speak and you arrest them and you sue them and you take them to court for treason, that is wrong, so to speak. That is really wrong. That is wrong. So if I can address whoever is doing this, it needs to come to an end ASAP. Thank you.